Hey guys, my name is Lily and today I would like to make a video about the situation in Europe, especially Germany. And the first news that I want to read to you is this one, which is coming from the CEO of Träger. And Träger is a German company which is producing gas masks like this one here. It's a great high quality company and makes high quality products. So now this is what the CEO of the company has to say. The CEO of medical and safety technology company Trägerwerk sharply criticizes the current government. Many people assume that prosperity is created by the state and not by companies. The CEO of Trägerwerk criticizes the Black-Red coalition government. He is concerned that both elected officials and the general public are losing sight of the origins of our prosperity. Prosperity arises solely from entrepreneurial activity. The CEO of Trägerwerk states that more and more people believe that prosperity is generated by the state and not by companies. This is our major problem. According to Träger, the current government is setting the wrong incentives, but he's even more worried about the European Union than about the federal government. The EU methane regulation stipulates that from 2027 onwards, importers of oil, natural gas and coal must comply with strict documentation requirements. Among other things, importers are required to document how much methane is emitted during the extraction, processing and transport of crude oil and natural gas. Failure to comply with these documentation standards can result in exorbitant fines. So this is one thing that the Germans are dealing with. They're dealing with more and more bureaucracy, and this makes a lot of companies leave the country. Also now in Germany they are thinking about stopping the decommissioning of some nuclear power plants and activating them again, but actually this is not really feasible, at least not economically feasible. If you want to support my channel, the best way to do so is to buy a Odenwolf knife. Odenwolf is a really awesome company. They make high quality knives like this one here for a really good price, and this one happens to be a Scandinavian camping knife. And I really like this knife. I always have it in my car. And if you check out their website, you will find many other great knife models. And with my discount code Lily10, you will get a 10% discount. So if you want to support my channel, make sure that you check out the affiliate link in the description below. Also very concerning to me is this article. Here they are writing about the Ukraine war in German, in a German newspaper. They are calling the war the breathtaking transformation of Ukraine and the great opportunity for Europe. So yeah, that's quite a way to describe death and destruction. Since the outbreak of the war, Ukraine has undergone a breathtaking transformation. The country has long since become an influential security factor for Europe. So I have to say, I strongly disagree with this article. I think that the war has just brought death and destruction to the country. There's a lot of pro-war propaganda going on right now in Germany. Also, there's a new law that young men from 17 to 45, they have to seek a special permission if they want to leave the country for longer than 3 months. So yeah, a lot of signs are pointing to the possibility that Germany might prepare for war. And that's of course very concerning. Also sometimes some German politicians are saying things which put me a little bit on alert. So for example, in Germany they were saying that they are now planning small nuclear power plants to combat the energy crisis. But then I think it was a green politician, she said that all those small nuclear power plants would be a great target for war, right? So why would a politician say something like this? Maybe they know a little bit more than the general population. Maybe they already have plans to join the war. Also now there's talks in Germany that military conscription could come back. Right now it's voluntary, I believe. But a lot of young men are getting letters from the military officers. It's questionnaires that they have to send back. A lot of young men, they are taking action, and they actually they go to conscription offices or some kind of office, and they say they don't want to fight in a war. So you can kind of opt out of conscription, but who knows if this is really, you know, something worth if the war starts. I don't think this will be worth anything. So yeah, if I was a young person in Germany, I would definitely consider leaving. And actually a lot of young YouTubers are now leaving Germany. So more and more YouTubers are making videos about how they are leaving Germany. Some are already living in other countries. And it's even YouTubers who are not involved in news or any political topics. So it's comedians and other YouTubers who politically talk about the stuff for the first time on their channel. So yeah, very interesting and very concerning changes in Germany going on. Also now there's propaganda going on. So here they're saying because of the energy crisis, less is more. And you can see a picture of people sitting on the German Autobahn, not driving their cars, and by waving to using, you know, resources, whether it's electricity or oil, is maybe the solution to the crisis, right? So just reduce the demand and then we will be fine. Also now they are saying there's a kerosene shortage coming in Europe, and if there's not enough of kerosene, holiday plans have to be changed for a lot of people. Here they're saying southern and southwestern European destinations such as Spain, Portugal, Greece and Italy could benefit if long-distance travel plans are abandoned. What? Those countries are dependent on tourism. They really need the money. They are living from the tourists. In the light of the energy crisis, an economist in Germany calls for a rethink of consumption patterns. If necessary, consumers have to change their vacation plans. And she rejects government discounts on air travel or fuel. Hey, but still, if you cannot fly, you can still have a great vacation without flying. Yeah, maybe in those 15-minute towns that they have planned for us. We can't subsidize summer vacations with that at the expense of our children, right? We cannot do that. So you cannot fly into holiday, but still they can make debts at the expense of our children to finance a war with death and destruction, right? Wow. Ooh. Volkswagen is not doing that great. They are producing less and less cars in Germany. So now the Iron Dome manufacturer wants to buy a Volkswagen plant. Armor instead of convertibles. Volkswagen is reportedly on the verge of an unusual deal. Europe's largest automaker could sell its Osnabrück plant to the Israeli defense company. Talks are already at an advanced stage. Volkswagen itself is in a crisis and has been searching for a new future for the plant for some time. So now instead of making civilian cars, there will be produced some military vehicles. Because for that, we can always make that on the expense of our children, right? Volkswagen down 28%. Volkswagen's profits have plummeted. Shock in the first quarter. Volkswagen recorded significant profit losses in the first quarter. Increased competition and tariffs necessitate fundamental changes. Fuel and heating prices are driving up inflation. Now we are already at 3.3% inflation in Austria. The Iran war is putting a strain on the German industry. Material shortages are increasing rapidly. Also now Belgium is reacting and it's halting the dismantling of nuclear power plants. Apparently they also wanted to get rid of nuclear power, but now they are making a turnaround. The state considers takeover of the power plants. The dismantling of nuclear reactors in Belgium has been halted. This is intended to keep all options open to the Belgian state. Last year, the parliament in Belgium reversed the country's nuclear phase-out This government is opting for secure, affordable and sustainable energy with less dependence on fossil fuels and more control over our own supplies. Also now the Turkish parliament is voting for this controversial social media ban. Turkey is introducing age restrictions for social media, but there are doubts as to whether the government's true intentions are to protect the children. Critics warn that this is a step towards total online surveillance. Also now very interesting is this article here. The EU holds funding for energy projects using Chinese inverters. The European Commission has stopped funding for energy projects if inverters from certain high-risk countries are used. Chinese devices are particularly affected because those inverters are usually connected to the internet, which the Commission considers a hacking risk. So all of those inverters could be hacked, and this could cause a nationwide or even European-wide blackout. Also now, despite the energy crisis, some European Union politicians are demanding a penalty tax on gasoline. So the talks are always about cross-financing subsidies for electric cars, because electric cars are still so much more expensive. So if you purchase one, you get certain tax reliefs. But to finance those tax reliefs, of course, you need to get taxes somewhere else. So basically then, if a car owner which is driving a diesel like me or a gas-powered car would cross-finance the subsidies for electric vehicle car owners. I don't know if this sounds fair to you, but I find it very unfair. And also there's a lot of interference with the market going on, right? So usually the market, the free market, is setting the rules. And apparently politicians don't like that electric cars are not that popular anymore. So they try to use subsidies and try to push people to electric cars. Because also electric cars can be surveilled better and they can also be switched off, right? Nobody can switch off my diesel-powered car right now. I can put in the key and I can drive wherever I want. But with electric cars, I mean, there could be measures taking some kind of chip which is turning off your car. So this is why I'm driving an old car. And honestly, I don't mind it. I think this car, 15 years old, it's a great high quality car with components much better quality than what is produced now. Also now the European Union is limiting anonymity of cash payments. Also, Sweden will consider ways to limit energy use if Iran war continues. Sweden may need to consider options to reduce energy consumption, including rationing, if the disruption to the flow of fossil fuel supplies continues as the result of the Iran war. Alright guys, so this is enough of bad news for the day. I really want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to still keep a positive mindset, because you don't want to get depressed by all this bad news. So make sure you're doing something positive every day. For example, yesterday I was at the archery range, and just walking around in the forest, shooting your bow is such a great hobby, and it will definitely lift your spirits, especially if we live in a world like this. You have to be mentally strong to push through, and never forget that until now, good always prevailed and always won. And we want to keep it this way, so make sure that you keep a positive mindset. Alright, so this is it for today. Thank you for watching and stay tuned till next time.